Hello there. I'm going to talk to you for a moment about a way that I explore or can explore a problem with a client, and not just with a client, but I've done this myself. A client might be talking about a fear, and it feels quite intangible. It's very hard for them to describe it. I'm just really worried. I'm really frightened, or I feel like I don't want to do it, or I feel like I'm worried about being, sort of visible in that way, or whatever it is. And it feels like if you look at it and look at it, it doesn't have a lot of shape. There's not really a lot of stuff to explore around it because the client's not sure themselves about this feeling. And what I can do and what has been useful for clients, I just take something that this is a figure with eyes on. I've got a few of these. I think they've all got eyes. Maybe some don't actually, and they're different shapes. So I've got a few of these. I've only brought one because otherwise I'd be like a pack horse, coming up to park to talk to you. So I brought this one as an example, but I've got loads with eyes on and that, and no eyes. And I can invite the client to pick one that seems to fit for this issue. You can say that if you want, or you can just say pick one. So they've got this figure. It's in the camera, yeah. So this figure is representing this problem. Actually, full disclosure, because this might help you understand it a little bit. I was struggling with an issue. You might you might notice I'm quite informal in my temperament. I'm not very polished. I don't plan anything. I like to inspire authenticity and fallibility and flaws. Just imperfection, but for want of a better term. I like to inspire all of that in everybody by being that myself. I don't want to say to everybody, "Oh, you just be the raw you, the raw person. You just do you. You be, sort of spontaneous. You be unsocially acceptable every so often. You just be you. You wear the crazy dress, the earrings, the hair, the crazy shirt. Just yeah, you do you." You be left field if you feel that is you. But me, I'm not gonna. I'm gonna eat. I'm gonna make sure that I'm polished. So I see in my work, my life, that to be authentic inspires authenticity in others. It inspires us all to turn up and not be polished before we speak, to not be polished before we sing, dance, write poetry, paint, design, you name it, any endeavour. We do not need to be polished before we do it. I want to live in a world where everybody's doing stuff all the time and there is no pressure to be wonderful, expert, excellent at it before you put yourself out there. So I want to live in that world, which is a long-winded way of explaining this little guy. Oh, a little seed. So I want to be that way. That I don't want to be. I am that way, but I'm also somebody who does a lot of stuff in the counselling community. I do a lot of lectures. I teach supervision. I teach. I've taught over for the last decade, so I'm in a position of, typically a professional position that might inspire professionality or maybe formality in people. And I've really struggled with that balance. Like, can I really be my broad Yorkshire self, unpolished, spontaneous, a little bit flappy, a little bit easily distractible, hence the seed, which is gone now. Can I be that and also be viewed as a professional that has something of value to say? And I've really jostled with that. So my supervisor, Nicola Hughes, my supervisor invited me to see this issue as a figure. She didn't use an item because we were on walk and talk supervision, but the same rules apply. So this problem of you struggling with between professionalism and authenticity, if it was a person, what would it look like? And I said it would look like a tweed outfit, a tweed suit, old fashioned. And if would it stand or would it sit or would it move? Oh, it would sit. Okay, so look at my face already. And if it had a facial expression, what would its facial expression be? Can you see where we're going? And if it spoke, what would it say? Oh my goodness. And I was saying stuff like it would tell me to be quiet, to become polished before I speak. Oh, awful stuff. And finally, she said, "Does it remind you of everyone?" I said, "Yeah, it reminds me of." It reminds me of my granddad, who has long since passed away. Um, Hello, doggy. So interesting because my granddad never said anything like that to me ever. But I think there's something about his energy that suggested to me that I needed to speak when I had something important to say. That sort of flavour. And this can be used for any issue that feels a little bit indistinct and a little bit confusing. You know, what clothes would it wear? How would it walk? How would it move? Um, this problem, if it could speak, what would it say? And if you could speak back, how would you reply? Oh, it's really moving. It really is moving. And the sky's the limit, because what you can also do then is you can invite another figure. If I had another one, I'd put it here. You can invite another figure in, another one that's showing the other perspective, that I am enough. I was born enough. I don't have to be polished. I'm great as I am. I'm inspirational. You can really go there. Come on, inspirational. Easily lovable. I'm magnetic. I've got lots to say that's of value, and they can have another figure, and you can bring them into awareness as well. And you know, the sky's the limit with that, because you can really amplify that other figure that's on your side, and you can speak back to this figure. And I would always suggest, this is my own experience, you might feel differently, I would always suggest we speak kindly to these figures rather than, you know, F off. I'm thinking about, I'm rolling that around in my mind because I quite like the rawness of just saying F off, but quite often this represents part of self. It's whatever's useful for your client, frankly. I feel really passionate about nurturing all parts of self, and I guess that's where that came from. But then at the same token, maybe something for my further reflections. I do like the idea of being able to, you know, just kind of, you know. So I hope that's useful. Working with a figure, a character, to explore a problem. All right, see you later. Bye.